about the practical guide to getting a job at FANG. This is to getting a job at Facebook, Google, Netflix, and as well, and any other big company that you would like to get a job at. So, welcome guys, so good to see you all, Hope you're having an amazing day. Like I said, today we're going to talk about how to get a job at FANG and the process to getting a job at companies like that. Good to see you all. This is so awesome. I'm excited. So, we're going to jump straight into this, guys. I'm not even going to waste too much time because this one's going to be good. All right, so what are we going to talk about today, all right? Like I said, we've got all these amazing companies, right? Apple, Google, Facebook, Netflix, right? Amazon, right? These companies are your companies you want to work at, right? Not a lot. Some people might not want to work with them, but you might. I have personally, just a really simple kind of story. I have personally interviewed at companies like Google. I've interviewed at companies like Squarespace. I've interviewed at companies like as well as like Khan Academy, Palantir as well. So I've gone through this whole process to kind of know this process as well. But let's get it started. So let's go. Who's ready? You ready? Are you pumped? I hope you are. Alrighty. All right, so first things first, I want to talk about some of the salaries in terms of what we have around, these companies. Facebook, for example, guys, it says crazy stuff. We have Facebook software engineering salaries, okay, from 139K to 414K, guys. That is insane. Like, what? That's insane, guys. So literally, that's a good amount of money, right? And the average salary for a Facebook engineer, right, is about $140,000, right? As you guys can see, right? For Apple, right, we have an average salary can be from $136,000, right? $136,000 to $217,000, which is insane. Again, like I said, average base pay is $136,000. Next up, we have Amazon, $125,000 to $209,000, guys. And it probably, honestly, we say these numbers, but these numbers probably go higher than that, right? These numbers are just like your average numbers, and they go much higher than that. Trust me. Now, one thing I want to say is don't expect yourself. We show these things, but don't think that you can be making this much money, in a year or in a few months, right? It takes time, but it's possible because people do it. And so other people do it, they can do it, and you can too. You hear me? Yes, you can. Alrighty, sweet. So let's get this party started. Let's get it going. Next up, we have Netflix. Average salary is around from $167,000 all the way to $602,000, which is just insane as well. Insane stuff. Let me make sure that you guys are all good. You guys are amazing. So good to see y'all. In the comments and commenting and chatting with us. Thank you. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for being on here. Alrighty, next up, what do we got? We got Netflix, okay? We got Google, which I've actually had the chance to interview Google. They actually flew me out, which is really interesting. They flew me out all the way to Cali, guys. All the way to California, okay? All to California. And I had 3 interviews, and then they flew me out to California, and I had about 5 interviews there in Cali as well. So that was insane. And I'll make sure to talk about my experience there too. Okay? So after you land the job at FANG, we're gonna get, some money, but obviously it's not gonna be easy, guys. It's not gonna be easy. All right. Next up, so these companies, that's really interesting part. The reason why I want to talk about, and somebody asked, is this yearly salary? Yes, this is yearly salary, just so you know. So one thing I want to touch on is the fact that, these companies, a lot of people think that you need to have, for example, you need to have a degree, but you don't need to have a degree. Netflix, Tesla does not require a degree. Twitter does not require a degree. Whole Foods does not require a degree, right? Google, Instagram, Facebook, Costco, Netflix do not require a degree, guys, right? So do not get your mindset stuck in the fact that you need a degree. That is not right. That is not true, okay? Next up. So let me ask you this question. It's really simple. Do you want to get a job at FANG? Do you want to get a job at big companies? Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm more of a startup guy. I like startups. So I like to be in startup mode, okay? But I still want to ask you that question. So now the question you might be asking is like, how? How do I do this? How do I do this? Well, guys, it's really simple. All right, it's really simple. How do you think this is done? The first process that is the most important process is this process, guys. Honestly, is you just freaking apply. Okay, I say this because a lot of people come to me, right? Okay, a lot of people come to me and they're like, "Wait, Naz, how do I get a job at Google, right?" And and I asked the question, "Hey, did you apply even?" No, I didn't. Well, that's gonna be your first process. You need to apply. Okay, even if you don't think that you might be able to actually get the job, maybe you don't have enough experience. That's fine. You can apply multiple times later on. So you can apply now, and if that doesn't work out, you can apply later. Okay, but don't be afraid. That's the number one thing that's stopping you, honestly. Okay? So that's gonna be the main thing. And best way to apply. So I know this is a funny one, okay? The reason why I say best way to apply is through friends. I thought this is a really interesting one. It's actually because of one simple thing, guys, okay? The best way to get a job at any company, doesn't matter, okay? Doesn't matter if it is, I keep switching back and forth because, I'm talking a lot to the camera because there's a lot of this is coming from my experience. A lot of this is coming from what I know. The best way to apply for different people any company is through people you know. Because when you apply through people you know, right, you are a lot more likely to get that job. Personally, me, guys, all of my jobs came from people I know. I asked around, I asked my friend, I asked this guy, I asked this person. Next thing you know, I got the job. Because if somebody knows you, you're like 80% more likely to get the job. Seriously, it is that simple. So ask your friends, ask ask your friends, ask your college friends, whatever it might be, but ask around if there's a way. Maybe you want to apply for a company. And there's one interesting thing that I will talk about later. Which is how to actually apply even if you do not have anybody in your friend group who works at a company that you want to work at, right? So there's a way. Just trust me. There's a way, okay? Next thing. So big question. Do you need a degree? Well, let's see this. Look, it says this is on Google Careers, okay, guys? This is on Google Careers. It says, do I need a computer science degree to be a Google software engineer? No, a CS degree isn't required for software engineering or product management roles. You see? Just that, guys, that gives you that gives you I know a lot of you guys might be watching this and you guys do not have a degree, and that's okay. And some of you don't. That's cool too. But if you don't, that is still fine. Let me make sure that I'm all good here. Okay? That is still fine. So, and actually, interesting enough, they actually removed the necessity for a degree not too long ago. Cool. And this is so cool. Elon Musk said this some awesome things here. So he talked about Elon Musk here, talked about how this is, a Starship Career Day, a Starship building, and he said that this is mainly for staffing up to 4 production shifts, 24/7 operations, but engineering supervisors and support personnel are certainly needed too. It's super hardcore work. So basically, he's talking about the fact that you simply need a hardcore work ethic, a talent for building things, common sense, and trustworthiness are required. The rest we can train. This is really good stuff right here, right? The rest we can train. He even says here, don't care if you even graduated high school. Like, what? Hold on, let me make sure that right there. There you go. I don't care if you even graduated high school. All right? It doesn't matter, guys. See, these companies are starting to understand finally that we don't need degrees. That college is useful, but especially for software engineering, it has changed a lot. It has changed so much that it's changed to a point where we can learn things online faster and quicker and be more up to date. And so that's what Elon Musk is talking here about. So are you on board with me? I hope you are. You hope you remove that mindset of you need a degree. Okay. So just 3 easy steps, guys, to 3 easy steps. I mean, I'll delve more deep into things like this, but apply, interview, and then decide where you want to go. Okay, very simple. So here we talk about what kind of education some developers have in general. A lot of them do have, for example, bachelor degrees, right? But a lot of them do not have degrees at all. right? If you take a look at, 47% yes do have bachelor's degrees. And this is counting for people who actually have answered Stack Overflow survey, right? But a lot of them do not have degrees. Guys, most of my friends who are developers do not have degrees and they work at big companies. Just keep that in mind, all right? Keep that in mind. Beautiful. So I searched up on Google, jobs at Google, software engineers, 497 jobs, guys. That is insane, okay? I'm trying to show you this because I want to show you that this is possible, okay? So let's take a look at a software engineering job at Google, okay? A front-end software engineering job, okay? Really interesting. Let me make sure that I can see your guys' comments. Let me see. Let me make someone moderator. How can I make someone moderator? Let's go. Make you add moderator. So Yuri, thank you. All right, so you're gonna be a moderator. Oh, not second, guys. Hold on, one second, guys. Beautiful. So as you can see here, what do we got? We got Google, and when you look at Google, what kind of requirements, what kind of is required for Google? We have what? It does say that there's a bachelor's degree potentially, right? But or a related technical field or equivalent practical experience. So what they are looking for here, guys, is they're looking here for practical experience. This is from a software engineering, a Google software engineering position role, okay, when you go to apply, okay? And they're looking for 1 year work experience right there. That's it. 1 year work experience. Like that is, what? As you can see experience developing user-facing software. So you need to have some projects under your belt, of course. That's what we talk about so much. This is why you guys are building all these clones here on Clever Programmer, right? Because you need experience of building these pieces of software, right? Right. You need experience with HTML, CSS, and so forth. Okay. Apple, same thing. Okay, no degree requirement. Okay, Apple does require a little bit more. So 5 years of software development experience, design, building complex. But you can see they don't talk about here, guys. They don't talk about degree. And this is for a full time. When you do like an internship, they don't require any too many experience. Okay. Same thing for Netflix, guys. Does not require a degree. Okay, very important. Does not require a degree. They are looking for like 5+ years of experience. But again, this is for a full time. If you're doing an internship, it's going to be they don't need too much experience. They need maybe like half a year of experience. That's pretty much it. And they're looking for someone who's strong in like Java, React, which is you're learning that right now, which is just epic. Right, Node.js and other JS frameworks, okay? Facebook, same thing. No degree requirement, guys, right? This is for a full-time position, you see? No degree requirement. I know this is a little bit small, but that's okay. So let's talk about a little quickly, right? So we talked about, right, all these companies, right? And they all these different companies and about the possibilities. And hopefully at this point, you have gotten to your mind the fact that it's possible. It's as simple as that. It's possible, okay? So what I want to talk about, one simple thing. But before I do want to talk about one simple thing, I want to let you know really quickly here that we have a really cool free training down in the description. If you want to become a JavaScript developer, guys, a web developer, we have an amazing free training for you guys. Check it out in link in description, okay? Link in description. It's really good. A lot of people have got a lot of value from it. So if you thought about becoming a JavaScript developer, check it out. Link in description. Just go there and we'll be all good. Let's continue on. So one of the most important things, right, obviously when applying for companies is your resume. And so I want you to take a pen and paper right now, literally take a pen and paper or have your phone ready to be able to screenshot or to take pictures here, okay? So your resume, very important. A lot of people mess this part up, guys, okay? Very important, just simple thing. Please keep it to 1 page, for the love of God. 1 page. I see people. I know this is a small image, guys, but this is me trying to show you need only 1 page, okay? 1 page. 1. Okay? That is it. Okay? I see people with 2, 3, 4 pages. You don't need that. Why? Because they don't have time to review that much time. Recruiters have 15 seconds to decide, guys, they have 15 seconds to decide if you basically have if you have the necessary things to even go forward with the process, okay? 15 seconds they have to decide. So please make sure it's 1 page, okay? Next up, Next up is going to be, let's see, structure. So structure of your resume, okay? This is some really good stuff. So make sure you take a screenshot, okay? And when you do take a screenshot, tag me on my Instagram, which is like right here. Okay. All right, continue on. So first thing, and this just really interesting thing, guys. This is actually my resume right here. You can see this is Nazari Demansky. This is the resume that got me interview companies like Palantir, Google, interviews with companies like Twitter, and let's see, Squarespace, and let's see, Khan Academy, and a few other ones. So yeah, this is my golden resume. All right. Next up, we got structure. Like I said, okay, this is my structure that I use, and this is a structure I see a lot of people use. Okay. First structure is right here is you have a degree. So you can show your degree, the degree, like you have a bachelor's degree. If you do not have a degree, don't show it. You don't need it, like I said. Next up, technical skills. So show the technical skills that you got, okay? So, for example, maybe React, HTML, CSS, right? Maybe whatever else show those technical skills on there. Next up, projects. Projects should be your up top, okay? Very important. Somebody said you don't need a one-page resume anymore. I still stick to one page. Doesn't matter because you can put everything you need on one page. Okay, projects you need to have on top. Okay, so what projects have you done? Did you do the Facebook clone? Did you build the React clone? Put those projects up top because people want to see experience. That's the most important thing. Okay. Next up, actually, hold on. Let me go back. Projects, experience. Okay. So where have you worked at? And then references. So what people you trust, who people can contact, okay? Very important. Next up, tips. Use impactful words. What does this mean? What do you think it means? It's very simple. Impactful words are words that stand out to a recruiter or... Sorry, I need my water. To a recruiter or to anyone else, or even to a machine who reads your resume potentially, okay? What impactful words are things like, for example, I improved a certain product. So when you are talking about, let me give you an example. When you are talking about, and I'll give this example in a resume that I kind of have. When you are talking about your experience at a company, right? Let's say you went ahead and, so let me go ahead and let me go ahead. I'm gonna use Screen Brush here. Boom. And I'm gonna say, for example, let's say you went ahead and at a company, you went ahead and you, where's my Screen Brush? Okay. And at a company, you went ahead and in the company you built a new website. Right? A website, okay? Okay? You can say I built a website. Somebody said, drinking 1 gallon of water. Yes, I will be drinking 1 gallon of water. So you can say I'm building a website, or in your resume, you can say something else, which is going to be better. Okay, check this out now. You can say now this. What if you said, improved site performance. Performance. Or what if you said, added 50% more leads, right? Through a new site, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to show results, because that is what people are looking for. That's what recruiters are. They're trying to show results, right? So increased efficiency, right? Increased efficiency in something. Whatever it is, you need to show results, okay? Increased efficiency. Maybe, for example, added 200, added 200 new clients. Okay? Improve the process. Okay? Improved the process. Okay? Maybe you decreased process time. I don't know what you did. Decreased process time. The main thing is actionable words. Okay? So somebody, Ankit, thanks so much for the donation. Really appreciate, my friend. Let me go ahead and let me show that for you. Hold on. Ankit, 100 pesos. I think that's what. So okay, Ankit actually asked the question. Let me see this question. Let's see this question here. Let me go ahead and see this question right here. Boom. Give me a second here, guys. Boom. Wait. Come on. Screen brush. Hold on, guys. Where is this? Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm back here. Okay. But I'm still not what I want to be. Hold on. Give me a second here, okay? Oh, wait, I got it. Oh, there we go. It's all good now. Anybody know how to quit this? Hold on. Give me a second. Guys, check this out. Okay. Check this out. What can we do? What can I do with this one? Hold on. Okay. There it is. I know. Something has happened, that's why. Thank God. It's not quitting screen brush. This is so funny. Oh, thank God. Okay. All right, I got it. We're good. We're back. Thank you for being sticking with me. We're back. We're back, guys. Okay. No, we're not back. Never mind. Now we're back. Okay. All right, we're good. All right, we're good. All right. So before I go forward, I just want to go ahead and actually I want to show my friend here. So Ankit, you asked a question. Let's see. That's the question of, I'm no good. What should I do? Is I feel a lot of pressure at my job. I'm worried. Should I quit and learn and help? Me, I'm a front-end React developer with 1 year experience. I'm not good. What should I do? Is I feel a lot of pressure. What should you do? You should just keep going. You should not quit. Oh, please, God, no. Please don't quit. No, do not quit, my friend. You need to keep going. Honestly, very important. It's hard right now, but it's going to get a lot easier. You have to kind of push through it. A lot of us kind of go through this, imposter syndrome and so forth. But once you get past it, it's going to be a lot easier. So please keep going. Trust me. Ask questions, get help from others, maybe potentially, take on some coaching, whatever you need to do, but do not quit. Okay? Please don't. 'Cause I'll be very sad. Alrighty, keep going. Cool. So we talked about impactful words, right? Next thing, let's talk about GitHub links. So, right, and under the description of your experience, of your project, of your experiences, kind of like how I have here. You see, guys, how I have, I don't know if you guys can see this easily, but I have my projects right here, and then my experiences right here, okay? And then under my experiences, right, or actually, I'm sorry, under my projects, you can see that a GitHub links right here, okay? GitHub links. So make sure to add all the GitHub links. The amount of times that people have came to me, and recruiters have come to me and be like, okay, yeah, thanks so much. I checked out your GitHub link, and I was able to get a good understanding of what projects you do and what code you write. So, yeah, very important. A lot of people miss that part too. All right. So add GitHub links. Now let's talk about preparing for the interview. This was your resume. We've covered some good resume. You've got a good structure now, right? All is good. It was your resume. Again, like I said, make sure it's one page and so forth. Now let's talk about preparing for the interview. Okay, preparing for the interview. So Google contacts you, and you're like, "Yo, can I please do an interview with you? Can we do an interview with you? You're like, yeah, let's do it. I'm so happy. Yeah. I'm so happy. And so step one is you need to start learning algorithms and data structures. So unfortunately, with any big company, you're gonna have to go through an algorithms technical interview. And I personally hate it. I hate it so much, but we have to do it, like it or not. Okay. And so, this is gonna be not again. We did it again. So data structures and algorithms. It's gonna be a process for you guys. Okay. It's going to be a process for you in terms of what you need to learn and so forth. Now, some things to consider where to learn from, okay? Few things. LeetCode, a very important tool. LeetCode, you can go on LeetCode, and you can actually, when you log into LeetCode, you can go ahead and actually select Google, Facebook, Twitter, and it will give you algorithm questions based on the company, which is really good. Hackering, similar thing, okay? Cracking the code interview, you need to get this book. Trust me. Okay, this is where you'll be learning a lot. What happened? Is everything okay? This is where you'll be learning a lot of your things. So a lot of your algorithms are going to come from here, especially in terms of understanding it. This is where it's going to come from. Okay, so let's talk about what companies are looking for in terms of algorithms and so forth. Well, if you look at, for example, Uber, you can see they're looking for like dynamic programming, depth first search. This is DFS, is depth first search. So they're searching for search algorithms, breadth first search algorithms, looking for math, backtracking, sorting. So one big thing you're gonna focus on is sorting, searching. For example, through binary search trees, okay? Bit manipulation. One of my questions came from bit manipulation when I had an interview with Palantir, okay? Sliding window, divide and conquer. So it's really greedy algorithms, right? Binary search tree is actually a very big one. So that's why it's like 88.8%. Next thing, Microsoft, same thing, dynamic programming, right? Depth first search, and so forth. Again, very, very, very important. And you can learn all those things in the book. And you can learn all those things through the other resource that we will talk about right now. Okay, let's continue on. So, Microsoft, you can see interview questions, distribution on Microsoft, trees, hash tables, okay, linked lists, right, stacks, queues, all of this. You need to be able, for example, you might be given, for example, you need to go ahead and loop through a linked list. Okay, you need to go ahead and loop through a linked list and give me the highest number in the linked list. That might be literally one of your questions. And so you need to be able to do that. You need to go ahead and understand what's a tree, what's a hash table, what's a linked list, what's a stack, what's a queue, and what functionality, or most importantly, how do I create those specific structures, okay? And you can use it with any language you want. Maybe that's Python, maybe that's JavaScript. For me, I did it in Python because I love Python, okay? Because it was easier for me to do those kind of algorithm questions. If you want to do JavaScript, you can do JavaScript, not a problem as well. Okay, let's continue on. All right, same thing, we talked about, right? Top seven algorithms that, you need to know, like the sorting algorithm, search algorithms, like, through binary search trees, through hashing, dynamic programming, okay, binary exponentiation, right? All those things. Don't focus so much like binary speciation, not so much. String matching and parsing, yes, very important right here. Very important. Probability testing, not so important. No, we put those in, but some of the things are not important. Okay, so that's going to be a big one for you. Before I go on, though, one thing that I did not put on here is actually going to be, what do you think we forgot on here? It's something really simple, but something so important. That, my friends, is actually, it's actually big O notation. Big O notation. So we don't have that on here, but big O notation. You need to know. So big O notation. Okay. You need to exactly know. Hold on, here's a good picture for you guys. Check out this cool picture. See? You need to exactly know, right, which algorithm. So when you go ahead and you do an algorithm, let's say, you solve the problem, You need to know, hey, is my solution, is that big O of n squared, big O of n, big O of log n, or big O of 1? Now, you might be asking, what is this? I have no idea what is big O. Big O is just a O, right? What do you need to know about big O? Well, here's the thing, guys. Okay, with big O, what you need to understand is very simple. You need to understand that. Hold on, let me see. You need to understand that it's about complexity. It's about like how fast does your algorithm work. Okay. So one example here is, for example, let me zoom into here. Boom. Let me open up the fancy. Is it option tab? Screen brush. Come on. Oh no, that's not what I want. Read. There we go. Okay. There you go. So here, for example, here, okay? Very important. So big O of n is when a function runs in constant time. So for example, if it's, you can see here, this is a function, okay? Its first element. And this simply all it does is it returns an element, okay? It just simply returns an element. That's all it does. Nothing too much, okay? So it does, it does one function. If you scroll down, big O of n. Big O of n is, let's say you have a list now. Oops, that's not what I want. You have a list now, and you're looping through the whole list. And so you're saying that my algorithm runs as fast as the length of the list. So if my list is a million arrays, like is a million, right? Then my algorithm is gonna run for longer time, right? If my list is 10, for example, 10 elements, it's gonna run for that long of a time. It's very important stuff. So you can see, right, the looping through, they have a for each loop here, and that's looping through all the elements. That's big O of n. Now, big O of n squared, I don't want to get too much into this, right? Big O of n squared is like, for example, is when you go ahead and you have a loop, and you have another loop within another loop, right? So now you have two loops. So you're looping through the loop twice. That's why you have big O of n squared, right? And that makes the algorithm a lot less, run a lot more slower, right? Or a lot longer, right? Which increases complexity. So you have to know these type of things. Again, I don't want to get too much into it, but I just want to, could just kind of lightly brush it, okay? But this is something that you have to know, because obviously, what do we want? Do we want an algorithm that's this fast, or do we want an algorithm that's this fast? What's better? Obviously, this one, right? Big O of n. And so that's what they look for. They look for, can you create an algorithm that's like big O of n? By the way, want to say so much thanks. Let me see. Somebody asked. We got Will's donate 2 pesos. Thanks so much. So does Kazi still have 400 JS and Python courses? Yes, we still have the Python courses, $400 courses, guys. Their link is in the description to them if you want to check them out. Okay. Yeah, we still have the courses. And Will said thanks so much for the donation. Appreciate it, my friend. All right, let's continue on. We talked about what you need to do. Now let's talk about one of the most important things. One of the most important things you can do to prepare for an interview. Or somebody said it's euros. It's not pesos, it's euros. Thank you so much, Casty. All right. So one of the most important things you can do is for an interview is it's doing mock interviews. So what mock interviews are, my friends, is they are simply basically you having a fake interview with someone else. So maybe it's your friend, okay? Maybe it's whoever it might be. Maybe it's your friend or whatever it might be. But it's you doing a mock interview. Now, there's a ton of mock interviews on YouTube, which I highly recommend you go check them out. Even Google, for example, has one, okay? How to work at Google, right? There's a ton of interviews. For example, the author of Cracking the Code interview, right? She has an amazing mock interviews. Cracking the coding interview, amazing mock interviews, for example, on Google. So just in Google type in, cracking the coding interview, cracking the coding interview video with Danny right here. Just type it into Google and you should be fine. Okay. Before I move on, I want to address something. I want to address something really quickly here. We have, Let me see. We have someone else donate. Ankit donate yet once again. Appreciate my friend so much. And you said, sir, I felt like doing. Oh my God. Okay. Because you cannot complete your task. I'm afraid that I will not achieve anything in my life. An organization will kick me one day. Ankit. Listen, Ankit. There's only one way you can go about this. Okay. You can, because Ankit is talking about, he donated 100 pesos, and he said that, I feel like my organization is going to kick me out. Listen, a very simple answer for me. Well, actually not so simple, but you need to have kind of trust in yourself, my friend. I trust in you. I believe in you, and the fact that you will be able to solve any problem or any challenge ahead of you. Okay, like if you look back, you currently have 1 year of experience. Okay, and you think about what have you done with that 1 year experience. Okay, what challenges have you went through? You've gone through a lot of challenges, my friend. Right? You've gone through so many challenges, it's insane. So if you've gone through those challenges, what's stopping you from going through this challenge? Okay, what's stopping you from going through this challenge? It's about belief in yourself. I believe in you. You have to believe in yourself too. You've got through so many challenges, right? You've pushed, right? You currently have 1 year experience. You got the job, my friend. And now you're saying that you can't do it. Yes, it might be harder, but it's okay, right? Take necessary steps. Kind of step back a little bit. Don't focus so much on that you can't do it, but focus a lot more on how to do it and how to approach it. Focus a lot more on that. I don't want to take up more time on this, right? But if you want, right, if you want to reach me out directly on my Instagram and Naz Dumansky right here, I would love to help you out, okay? Reach me directly on here, and I'd love to talk to you directly, okay? So reach me on there, and we'll talk. Anyways, guys, let's keep going, all right? So the third way for you guys to practice, do mock interviews is practice with a friend. Literally take a friend and be like, okay, let's go ahead and do role play. Okay, right now, you are the interviewer, I'm an interviewee, and you're going to interview and you're going to ask a question. Okay, so do role play with that person. Okay, I did that multiple times, right? And then you can switch it up, and so forth. All right, next up. Very important. I say this so much. Guys, practice. Okay, practice nonstop. Okay, this is gonna be about practice. You just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, keep learning, and your algorithm questions are going to start becoming a piece of cake for you. Not kidding. Somebody said, "I love your accent." Do I have an accent? I didn't even know I had an accent, but thank you. So let's say you went through an interview, you went through the whole process of trying to get an interview, and you got the interview. Boom, you got this. Now what? You party. Hey. Okay, anyways. So this is a cool kid. Hey, I was sick. So, guys, interview time, right? Interview time. What do we do now? So we're going to talk about a few things that I want you to touch base. Again, really fast. I want you to kind of write this stuff down. I'm going to go through things, and I'm going to explain some things for you, kind of from my experience, okay? So, 1, dress clean, okay? You don't want to look like a bum. Okay, dress clean. Look like $1 million. Don't have to. There's no need to wear a suit. You don't need a suit or anything like that. Okay, nothing fancy. Okay, but just dress clean. Just be fresh. Look fresh. Nobody wants to. Go ahead and interview someone or work with someone who's just maybe smells bad or something like that. I don't know. But ask questions. So really important. You need to ask questions. You need to have, for example, I had questions prepared. Okay. So, let me go ahead and I will do this. Have questions prepared ahead of time. Okay, ahead of time. Really important, guys. Have questions prepared ahead of time, okay? So, maybe, for example, one big question that I like to ask is, so, what team are you working for? So when you're working for, okay? The reason why you're doing this is you're building rapport with your interviewer, okay? Maybe you ask to see, okay, how many team members, okay? You might be asking the question of like, okay, what is your process? Right? What that shows is that you care about things that's going on in the world, in that company. You care about that. That's very important, okay? Then you might be asking the question, okay, what's your process? Maybe ask the question, okay, what interests you the most about this company, about this job? What interests you? The most, right? Again, let me show. Yeah. What interests you the most, right? You need to, again, you're building rapport with the recruiter. Very important stuff, okay? Let's go ahead and do this. All right. So ask questions. I had questions prepared, kind of, and then obviously as I was talking with the person, I went ahead and I asked more questions depending on how the conversation is going. So you have to prepare and kind of, talk with people. Just imagine the recruiter is your friend. That's it. It's as simple as that. Imagine the recruiter is your friend. Next, talk slow. Please talk slow. I say this a lot when in my coaching and my private coaching when I coach students. I say this a lot, guys. Don't be like, hey guys, how's it going, guys? I really want to talk about, this is so cool. It's so cool what you guys are doing. It is so awesome. I really love, what's going on here. I've been doing this kind of stuff. I have been working on algorithm questions. I have been working at this company, and I went ahead. Blah, 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 blah. What do you think about that? Not good. Right? So slow and steady wins the job. Exactly. As Lam said really nicely. That's really good. Slow and steady. So, hey guys, yeah. So, for example, when you get asked the question, of, so tell me a little about yourself. Just like, hey, yeah. So of course, so yeah, about 2 years ago, I went ahead and I started working at a company called Trendala. This is a startup company that kind of, I approached two of my friends and I asked them if I can work with them. And they kind of gave me a chance. That's where I learned my first experience, right? After that, I kind of went to another company where I went ahead, and I built some really cool machine learning stuff, right? I built a machine learning process to go ahead and, and predict a number of leads for the next few months and so forth. So you're taking it slow and steady, but you're just taking it, you're taking your life and you're showing your experience of what you've done. Okay? That's it. No need to be like, because I have some students who are like, just go fast, which is okay. But you can talk slow. Repeat the question. Okay, what does that mean? When? I keep switching this because I'm talking to a camera and I want to make sure you understand this correctly. When? Okay, when you go ahead and they ask you the algorithm question at the interview. So let's say they ask you, hey Naz, so let's go ahead and sort a list of names. Okay. So let's sort a list of names. We have this list coming into a function, right? We want to go ahead and divide the list initially, but then we want to merge that list together, and the goal is to return a sorted list back to the API, whatever it might be. So as the interviewee, as me, the person being interviewed, you want to repeat what they have just said. Why? The reason why is because that shows that you understood what the problem is, and that rephrases that problem back to your mind so that you can actually think about it more better. Versus if you just sat there quiet like this, like you're listening to the other person. That's great, but that's not helpful for you, neither for the recruiter or for the interviewer. So repeat the question. So you can say things like, for example, okay, great. So okay, I understand you. That's interesting. So what you're telling me right now is that we need to take in a list of names into a function. Then we need to split up the list, maybe, split up that list. We need to merge the list back together, and then we need to go ahead and sort it, of course. And I'm thinking potentially using like a loop to sort this, and then we need to return a sorted list, right? So very important. So did that. Repeat the question, and then when I said ask questions, now for example, you can say, okay, great. So they say that, and they can say, okay, great. So then you might follow that up with a question like, for example, okay, how many lists of names are we expecting? Is this going to be a huge list, right? A smaller list, right? So how many lists of items are we expecting, right? So they might say, okay, it's not just, it should mostly likely might be 20 list of items, right? So then you start asking questions, okay? So then you can say, for example, okay, I understand that. So we have this and this, okay? And so since we only have 20 item list, okay, I'm thinking, potentially just using just a normal loop, without anything fancy. And they're like, okay, all right. So let's continue on. So I'm literally taking you right now. This is interesting because I'm taking you through a process that I went through. This, as I'm talking to you guys, this literally reminded me of what I was going through. Sorry, I'm taking my time. This is, what I was going through when I was doing these interviews. Because they're tough, I know, but they're doable. So, like I said, repeat the question. Take time to understand the problem. Do you understand the words that come out of my mouth? Do you understand? Do anybody know this is coming from? This is hilarious. Yeah, this is coming from rush hour, by the way. So take time to understand the problem. Okay, you can say, for example, I'll do this oftentimes. I'll be, for example, yes, and Devin said you can drink water during interviews. It helps you to relax. Yes, very, 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 very much. That's a good point. So you can say here, for example, things like, can you please give me a minute? I kind of just want to think about this, and then I'll get back to you here in a second here. So you can say things like that, right? Say, just let me think about this, and then I'll get back to you in a minute. And they'll be like, okay, no problem. Okay. So take time to understand really what the problem is. Assumptions, really important. Okay. A lot of times, actually, let me go back to here. Assumptions, right here. These are the assumptions I'm talking about. So some of the questions might be very vague for you. The question might be, for example, for you is like, okay, you have two parallel lines on a board, okay, and you need to find, you have two crossing lines, and you need to figure out where are they crossing. That was literally one of my questions at a company called Palantir, right? And then what you need to do is you need to start talking about assumptions. You can say, for example, okay, in my assumption, can I assume that these parallel lines, will always continue on and on? They don't stop. Can I assume that these lines, for example, let me think. Can I assume that the data we get in about these lines are just XY coordinates, right? So you can say things like that, okay? But you have to state those assumptions, because you can't make assumptions by yourself. Okay, that's not good. That's not good as a developer. You shouldn't ever be doing that. You can't just assume and not be doing, just assume things. You can't just assume things and then go ahead and go with them without telling anybody about them. That's not the way to do our development. Okay? And so you need to talk about those assumptions. Very important, guys. Let me go ahead and keep going with this. It's not wrong. It's your process. Somebody said, future code. Naz, what do you say? It's good to discuss your edge cases first. Yeah, you can talk about edge cases. Of course, you can talk about edge cases. Those are really important. I would say you can talk about edge cases is good too. I like that. That's a good future code. That's a good suggestion. I like that. Yes. So it's not wrong. It's your process. What do you think that means? Let me ask you this question, huh? What recruiters look for, or interviewers look for, when they ask you a question, an algorithm question, it's not so much about are you right or are you wrong? It is a lot more about what is your process. Are you a good developer? Are you someone who knows how to divide? Let me go ahead and do this. Let me do this really quickly. Check this out. Divide and conquer. Really simple. Divide and conquer. Okay? Can you divide and conquer? Can you take a huge problem? Can you take a huge problem that's right in front of you guys, okay? You take a huge problem that's right in front of you, and then divide it into smaller bits and pieces, correctly communicate it, and then solve it. Even, here's the thing, it can be wrong. Guys, I'm not kidding. Your answer to the question can be wrong. Sometimes, well, a lot of times, your answer to the question. It's okay if it's not precise. The most correct question. Sayuri say it's not about getting it right. It's all about, are you able to break it small parts and solve it? Yes, Sayuri, exactly. Okay, it can be wrong. So this is why I emphasize so much about this process. This is why I talk about these things like communicate, ask your questions. Okay, take time to understand the problem. Okay, things like that. It's such an important aspect. Okay, here's another one. Here's another important aspect. Okay, check this one out. Check this one out. Communicate, 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 communicate. What do I mean by that? So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and imagine I'm currently being interviewed. Okay, imagine I'm currently being interviewed, and somebody, Rishabh, I see you. You asked the question of, Naz, how would you suggest improving communication skills? I got you. Give me a second here. So let's go ahead. I am being interviewed, and I want to go ahead and let me go ahead and bring this up. And I'm going to talk about, somebody asked a question for me. Okay, let's go ahead and create a loop to loop through a list and then return a sorted list. So here's how I would go about this process. I'll be like, okay, great. So what I'm going to do right now, I want to go ahead and I'm going to loop through the list of items that is given to me in a function. I'm going to loop through this list of items. Then I'm going to use a sorting function, like for example, like a depth first search, not depth first search, a sorting function, sorting algorithm, where I will just loop through the elements and then I'll check which element is greater than the other element. And this will probably be a 2 loops, and because I need to sort them. Okay. So they're gonna be like, okay, great. So go ahead and do that. So now I'll say, okay, I will go ahead. Okay. So then imagine again, I'm being interviewed. This is me being interviewed. So I say, okay, first I'm going to run the function. I'm gonna say function, sort names, right? Boom, function like this. Oh, you can't do that. Never mind. Oh, never mind. Sorry about that. So most importantly, what I'm trying to say, for example, and then you can say, for example, I'm going to loop through now. So for loop, I'm going to loop through the elements. So for element in element. Okay, boom, and so forth. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is main important thing is talk as you code. Talk as you code. They want to see you communicate. They want to see how good of a team player are you. Okay? They want to see you be someone who they want to work with. Would you want to work with, I'm asking this question, would you want to work with someone who's just quiet, doesn't say anything, and be like, yeah, you do your thing, I'll just do my thing, we're all good, just, bye-bye. Sounds good. I'm just going to drink my water. That's it. No, nobody wants to work with that person. But they want to work with someone who communicates very well. Okay? That they want to work with someone who communicates very well. And so that, my friends, is why I emphasize this specific part so much. Communicate. Ooh. Communicate. Ooh. Communicate. I emphasize this part so much, guys, okay? So as you're talking and then, so you already mentioned, tell them what you are thinking. Tell them how you are thinking about solving the problem every minute. Isn't it right? Yes, exactly. Tell them what you are thinking, how you're thinking to approach the problem, everything. Just imagine your brain is just loud. It is a big mouth. And you're in the interview and you're the big mouth and your brain is a big mouth. It's not about being in here and cooped up. This is not the time to be cooped up. This is the time to be loud. It's the time to be, yes, let's go. Okay, that's the time. All right, it's the time to be loud, time to be someone who talks a lot. You're allowed to. Write things out. Like I said, write things out. If you, anything, your assumptions, write them out. Your problem, write it out. State the problem on the board. You will have a drawing board. State the problem on the board. Here's my problem, blah, blah, blah. My assumptions, here are my assumptions, blah, 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 and so forth. State all those things. I sometimes will even write pseudocode. You know what pseudocode is? Pseudocode is, I have basically a general rule of what the code will look like. Basically, a general, like, okay, maybe for example, I might say, for example, like, okay, first we're going to start off with a for loop. Then we're going to start off with for loop. Then we're going to loop through, next loop through next item. Okay, then you can say, for example, things like, okay, check if next item is greater than the first item. Oh, I know you don't see that, but just listen to what I'm saying. The first item and so forth. And I'm writing pseudocode right now. Okay? I write that out too. So write it out, okay? But also, be very mindful of the time because you have 45 minutes to complete this stuff. But they like that, guys. They like this kind of stuff because they like someone who communicates well. Like I said. Next up. Show them you're a team player. All right? Nobody wants to work with an asshole. I keep saying this all the time. I don't want to work with an asshole. You don't want to work with an asshole, correct? You want to work with someone who's good to work with, who's pleasant to work with. You want to work with someone who, like I said, communicates very well. Someone who doesn't have a big ego. That's what they are looking for. They are human beings at the end of the day. And if you can be a good human being, you're gonna get extra points. Okay? And that's it, guys. Right? Show them you're a team player, write these things out, communicate, and so forth. And that's it, my friends. And then then you're done. Most likely, when I say done, actually, you're not actually done because you're going to have to go through a few interviews. Okay? Few interviews. And the interviews, most of the times, for example, you might be going through, you might have, 5 interviews back to back. Okay? So one important thing is to, for example, if you want to take a break, it's okay to take a break. So, for example, tell the recruiter or the interviewer, ask the interviewer, hey, can I take a small break? Or can I take a water break? Or can I go to the bathroom? I would do that honestly, not just because I actually want to go to the bathroom, but actually because I'm just really tired and I wanted to take a small break. And I did that. Okay? I did that. So that, my friends, covers kind of what your process should be during the interview. Do you guys have any questions? Let me know in the comments below and we'll take those questions, okay? And then obviously, one important thing, guys, keep applying and keep applying and keep going. Okay? Keep applying, keep going. How do you like this Don't just be stuck on one company. I have applied to 50 companies when I was applying for companies. 50 plus companies. 50 different resumes. Yes. It was a little bit insane. But I did it. Okay? And you can do it too. Because if one company doesn't reply to you, it's okay. If the second company doesn't reply to you, it's okay. At some point, one company is going to reply to you. But you have to keep applying. You have to put in the work. That's it. That's it, guys. Okay? And I'll tell you a small story. Here, I'll tell you a small story. Let me see. I'll tell you a small story. Let me go on here. Tell you a small story. So, my interview process. Here's kind of so I went ahead and I applied for a Google internship. So let's go ahead and let's go through this. I'm just gonna go through what my process was. Okay, so let's go ahead and Google internships. Okay, so I applied for right there. See, so I was applying for this right here, software engineering internships. Apply for Google Career. So there's an internship where, for example, you can see they don't really require any specific degrees, or they don't require for you to have any experience, honestly. And you can apply. You can apply right here just as a software engineering intern, right there. Right there. See, if you're in college, you can be applying for internships. Even you might not even have to be in college. You can still apply for internships. Or in California, for example, right there. See, apply for an internship with my resume. And one really cool thing that I did actually is I went ahead and and I connected with people who worked at the company. Yep. So I connected with people who worked at the company I want to work at, and who went actually to the same university, who I had some kind of connection with. So let me give you, this is a really cool thing. So let me give you some suggestions right here. So one of the cool thing you can do, so let me see, hopefully Kazi has his LinkedIn up. I hope so, Kazi. It's okay. So LinkedIn, all right? A really important tool. So let's say you're trying to go ahead and maybe get some suggestions or maybe make connections with other people. So I highly recommend that you make connections when you're applying to companies you want to work at. You start making connections with those people. So you have a LinkedIn. Okay, this is literally what I did. I went ahead and I typed in. So you can see, for example, for me, I went and wait. Sorry, there. This is me, right? Here is me. Interesting smile, interesting guy, pretty cool guy. I feel like pretty cool guy. All right, here's me, and I went to University of Michigan Dearborn, okay. And what I did is, let's say I want to work. Let's say I'm looking to apply at Google, okay. So I typed in Google. Actually, I typed in University of Michigan. Again, and it doesn't have to be someone at the same university. I'm just giving an example, Dearborn. Okay. No, I want to search for people. Okay. And people, and I want to search for, no. All filters. Okay. University of Michigan. This is really cool, guys. For those of you who are actually university, let's say University of Michigan. That's fine. Similar thing. Okay. Let's say, and I wanna. They are in the Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. And they are in. And they work at certain companies, past companies. Let's say Google. Check this out. So I said this. I want to search for people who are in the University of Michigan and they worked at Google previously. Click apply. Boom, right there. Okay. Now I want to search for someone who's actually like a software engineer. So I want to go ahead and do all filters. I want to search for someone who is in the computer software business. Let's see, industry. Industry is computer software, for example. Something of this industry. Apply. Boom. Okay. So you will start to see. You are starting to see people who went to the same university. For example, we have Marcy here, UX designer. Marcy here, for example. See, Marcy, UX designer at BOOZ, but it looks like she was a UX writer, a UX intern at Google. Okay. So what I literally would do, this is literally me. I will do this, guys. I'm not even joking here right now. Okay. Somebody said turn up the volume a bit. Let me see. Can I turn up the volume a bit? Can you guys hear me well now? You guys hear me well now? I think so. Yeah. I will literally go ahead and I will I will connect, and I will message the person. I'll message the person and be like, hey, I saw that you went to the same university as I did. Do you mind, maybe giving me some pointers on how to get a job, at that specific company, at Google, right? I really appreciate that. I literally would do that, and I start making connections. I start talking with people, and people. I'm not kidding. I had 90% success rate. People were replying to me. That, guys, remember how I showed you this specific, what is it? What did I show you? I showed you my resume, right? Which was this one. Where was it? Right here. This right here one? This one right here? Where was it? Right here. Right. Where's my resume? Right there. This resume was built because I sent out this resume to different people who I just reached out to, who went to the same university as I went to. But you don't have to contact with people who are at the same university, guys, okay? You don't have to do that. You can just simply search for people who are doing the exact same things that you're doing. So it doesn't have to be specifically at the university. You can still search for people who simply are, working, maybe, for example, if I do all filters and I do like Google, right? Current company is a Google, and, and for example, you can say things like computer software, let's see, information technology, boom. Industries, that's the industry, apply, right? So, for example, let me search for a software developer, software engineer, vice president, software engineer at Google, for example, or see? I know I'm showing actual real people on here, but this is just, this is internet. So I will literally contact her nicely, okay? I will literally contact her nicely and be like, hey, it's really cool. And she worked at Microsoft too, actually. And I'll be like, hey, would you mind giving me some pointers on how to get a job, as a software engineer at Google? I literally contact that person, through here. I remember I paid for premium for LinkedIn for that specific month. Okay? And that's it. Guys. Keep doing that. You keep doing that, guys. This is some great stuff for you. Guys, let me know in the comments below if you're getting some value out of this. Like, if you are actually learning some new stuff, this is some interesting stuff to give you to do, let me know down in the comments below. Devin is like, I'm going to hit this person up right now. Don't leave. Devin. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, my God. So yeah, I'm showing you guys this because this is what I done. Somebody asked, hey, can you go ahead and show us a bigger picture of my resume? Yes, I think I can. Can I? Wait, can I? Let's see. Can I show a big resume? Let me see. Let me see if I can show a big resume. No, it's not. It's not doing me any good. Oh, look at that. As I decrease, it increases this. Oh, look at that. I think this is a bit better, right? You guys can see that a little better? Yeah, I think you guys can. Maybe not the best as you can, but you can see here. So yeah, Risha was like, great content. Honest, no, I'm not working with Google right now. No, I'm not working with Google. I'm working with you guys right now. You guys can see. So you guys can see here, this is my resume. The way I kind of split my things up, which is really simple. You can see, or hold on. I'm trying to not show a few things on here. Hold on. You can see, for example, that I had, I went to a hackathon, right? Then you can see my technical skills right here. This was my technical skills. So, for example, I had my languages right here. I had my frameworks, my concepts, my programs, and I listed them out very easily, very simply, right? So this is again, my goal here was very simply to get the point across, in a very easy manner about what I do. The next thing you know, you can see that I have my projects. So for example, I had an e-commerce project right here. So maybe let me see if I can show it to you better through this. Yeah, like an e-commerce project. You can see e-commerce project right here. Yeah, software engineering, ice cream truck management system. I specify the time when I did them, right? And I specify what did I do. So for example, on the e-commerce one, I said I led a group of 5 students to create a recommendation engine using collaborative filtering. Okay, right? Then, for example, for the Python NLT key search cleanser, I went ahead and I said parses a person's natural sentence into parts needed for searching. I was involved in the whole project from start to finish, from researching to creating the script. Okay, and here's my GitHub link. Very important. You see how I keep putting my GitHub link and stuff in here. See this? GitHub link. For the then I have my experience, of course, right here. You can see this is my date of my experience. This is the job. And then here's my experience. A software engineering intern at Sparkpoint LLC in Troy, Michigan. You can see. And one of the big things I remember I talked about those key words, those really like powerful words, okay? And those powerful words, right? The powerful one of the most powerful words here that I talked about was like, increased product base by 100%, improve product curation time by 50%, right? Improved search by using Python NLT machine learning library, all those things, right? So basically, I'm using those very, very powerful words in my resume, and that was really important. And of course, I specified the link to the company where I worked at. So yeah, this was my resume. Hopefully, you guys, what I'll do is, if you guys want, we can do a specific. This could be interesting. We can do a specific. We can do a specific live call just on how to perfect your resume. Because this resume, guys, this resume was perfected by so many people, by so many like people at Google, people at Palantir, people at LinkedIn. I contacted people at LinkedIn. I sent my resume to them. I sent my resume to people at Google, a friend at Google, and so forth. And they perfected this resume for me. I perfected it from the tips they gave me, right? So if you would find something like this valuable, let me know in the comments below, and we'll do a separate live call on just how to perfect your resume. Do you want to do that? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Somebody said showing grades isn't a good idea. No, you should not show grades, but you can show GPA. If you have good GPA. If you don't have a good GPA, don't show it. Yeah. So if you have a good GPA, then yeah. But if you don't have a good GPA, then don't show it. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it, I think. That's kind of what I wanted to cover in terms of like specifically, my whole process. But you can see that, I applied Google internships, then, really simply what happened to me as I went ahead and, they, after like a month or two, they sent me an email saying, hey, we would like for you to go ahead and do an interview with us. I did an interview. At first, it was just a coding interview initially, where I went ahead and I did a small coding project without actually talking to anybody. Then I went through that process. And then after that process, I went ahead and I talked with a recruiter. At the recruiter, I had 3 interviews, technical interviews. Then when I passed those interviews, guys, So it's a crazy process, like I said. When I passed those interviews, they sent me and they said, hey, we would like for you to come out to San Francisco, California. Actually, Mountain View, California, my bad. So I came out to Mountain View, California. This is really cool. I'm not kidding, guys. When you come out to Mountain View, California, they will actually pay for everything. They will pay for your flight. They will pay for your hotel. They will pay for your food, for your Uber, for anything. This was the best 2 days of my vacation ever. Not vacation, but this is the best 2 days of like free days I've ever got. So that to me was actually really awesome, guys. So yeah, that was like, holy moly. That was cool. So I went through that, and then obviously interview day came. Prior to the interview, I was doing a lot of practicing from like LeetCode and HackerRank and so forth. So I did a lot of practice through that. And I read the cracking coding interview book. I was practicing through that very much. And what happened up in the end is when the interview time came, I arrived. They took everything. They took my information. At first, I talked with someone just in general about the company, about what we're about to do. Then I went straight into the interviews. Had my first question. My first question, I bombed. the first question, guys, I'm not kidding. The first question, I bombed so badly. It was. Remember, I talked about those lines that you need to figure out what those lines cross. I mean, I tried so hard to try and figure it out. I couldn't. It was really hard for me. So and I kept trying. He helped me out. The person helped me out in the end. And but in the end, I think we solved it. We solved it. Not so much by myself, so I wasn't too proud of that. But I think my process was good. Like, I communicated everything very well, and so he appreciated that. And so I connected with that person very well. Then my second interview, I did pretty good. My second interview was pretty good. I don't remember what question that was, but again, kind of came in. A second person comes. So basically, what happens is that, let's say you are in a room, one person leaves, another interviewer comes in. Then you're done with that. That person leaves, another interviewer comes in. Then you're done with that. That person leaves, another interviewer comes in. So you have 4 back-to-back, 4, not 3, 4. 4 back-to-back interviews. So it's tough, guys. It's not easy. It's tough. Like, you're going to be dead tired by the end of this. Granted, really cool thing that happened to me personally. Really cool thing is at the end, after my second interview, we had a lunch break, which is really cool. We had a lunch break. And a Googler, they call them Googlers, so people who work at Google, they call them Googlers, actually took me to lunch. And it was just so cool. It was so cool. It took me to lunch, and we went to lunch, and I got to talk with the person, right? And I asked the person. Oh, by the way, the lunch was free. Lunch was free, and it was amazing because lunch at Google is free everywhere. So if you work at Google, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner for free. What? Hey! Oh, Devin Gray is saying Google is giving me 5 interviews in the same day. Devin, yes, exactly. I feel you, bro. Devin, I feel you. But awesome job, Devin. You got an interview? Heck yeah. Let's do it. I love it. So, but anyways. Oh, this is cool, Devin. That's cool. Maybe so in this case, this kind of applies to you. This is helpful for you, like, in this case, which is good. So, so I went in, and I talked with the Googler, which is really interesting. We went ahead and I asked a question, really simple question. I was like, how did you get into Google? Okay? And the person said that the person didn't even have a degree. There was no degree, guys. I'm like, interesting. So wait, how? She's like, so I actually got a job at Google after high school. After high school. So when the person was like 17 years old or 17 or 18 years old, they got a job at Google. What? How? So they explained. Well, what they were doing is that person was building projects or was helping out projects on Stack Overflow. Yep, on Stack Overflow, they were helping out with projects. And there was a specific project they were helping out with. And Google noticed them. Google noticed them helping out with those specific projects. And the next thing you know, Google contacts that person and is like, hey, would you like to work here? Boom. Done. That's it. Now that person is working at Google and has been working for the past, I don't know how long. I think that person now is 30 years old. Doesn't have a degree. Graduated high school and went to Google. All that person did was simply showed interest and the ability to do something by themselves, and the ability and the earning, this earning inside to learn and to grow and to help out the company, right? It showed the company. That's what the companies want to see. They want to see someone who thrives to learn, to grow, from scratch, even potentially, right? Because for example, Google. Let me ask you this question: do you think Google actually cares if you know a programming language or Python or JavaScript, do you think they care about what kind of a programming language do you know? Hell no. No, they don't. They don't care what programming language you know, because they can teach you that. They care about, 1, how good of a person are you? 2, okay? 2 is how can you divide up a problem into smaller problems, and how good of a problem solver are you? That's it. That's all they care about. Okay? Very important stuff, guys. And so, yeah, I talked with that person I thought was really cool. We grabbed some lunch and so forth. And then you know, after that, I had 2 or 3 more interviews. I think those went pretty well. They told me they let me know, how things went. And then I went back to the hotel, and then I relaxed. And I ate some good lunch and dinner. And then I flew back home the next day. And that was the day, guys. Yeah, it was good. It was great times. This was an interesting process for sure. Had a lot of fun with this. Interview. I learned a lot. That's why I'm able to tell you this my story. And maybe I can tell you a more deeper look into the story, maybe in a separate video or something like that. But yeah, guys. So that is my story. That is how the practical guide to getting interview at Google. Hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, let me see what questions we got before I go ahead and leave. Devin said, bro, I was working a WordPress job when my Google recruiter interviewed me. They didn't care about the language or framework. They want tech skills and experience. Exactly. And experience helps. My background isn't googly. Thank you, Devin. As you guys can see, Devin, hold on, let me see. Let me screenshot this. Maybe I can show it to you. Boom. Here. Hold on. Here. Devin Gray. Bro, I was working a WordPress job when my recruiter interviewed. They don't care about the language or framework. Like I said, they really don't, guys. Focus on the experience. Focus on building projects. Focus on problem solving. Okay? Language, they can teach you. Don't worry. So, Devin, thanks so much for sharing that. That was much appreciated, guys. So, like I said, guys, so I will say any other question before I go ahead and leave. Let me see if I have got any good questions in the end. Let's see. Let me see if I get any questions. If I don't have, I will just go ahead and leave here in a second. Somebody, Captain America said, Google's perks are just too good. Agreed. Agreed. And actually, interestingly enough, Googlers will actually bring their families to eat as well. So their whole families will literally come, like with babies and like their wife, or husband, right? They literally come in and they'll literally like just eat together. And the cool thing, they literally have everything to eat. You want tacos, you go here. You want European food, you go here. You want Mexican, you go here. You want Indian, you go here. Doesn't matter. They got everything. Yeah, that was cool. Oh my God. Let's see. Any other questions? Let me add questions. Devin actually sent an email to that person that we just talked to. Devin, this is funny. Oh my God, you guys. Yoma, of course, happy you enjoyed this. Somebody said how to be a good problem solver. Ankit asked the question of how to be a good problem solver. Ankit, that is just coming from experience. You need to learn to take a step back. Okay, you look at the problem as a whole, right? From the for example, most important thing is do not rush into solving the problem right away. Do not rush into coding. That's the most important thing. Take a step back. Think about, okay, I need to solve this first. How do I divide this whole problem first? I want to solve this first, and this first, okay? And then do that. And then do it again. And then do it again. And then do it again. And 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 then it's going to get easier for you. Okay? Do some research, right? Maybe you need to do research on what I really notice is sometimes when I'm really stuck and I don't know, like Ankit, you said you're really stuck, you don't know what to do. You just have to keep researching. You just have to keep searching. And somehow, I don't know how this happens in life. Somehow, it just turns out to where you find the solution or you get yourself out of that rabbit hole, that hole that you just dug so deep in, but you got yourself out of it. Somehow it just, I don't know how, but it just always happens. So you just keep doing it, keep repeating. And that's how you improve problem solving. Also, a good way to improve problem solving is to do algorithm questions. Just like how, if you guys want us to do algorithm questions, if you want me to do a live call on algorithm question, I'll be happy to do it. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to do it because I love this kind of stuff. So you've asked a question. I have done some of clone projects using React. Now I wanted to start job as a junior front-end developer. What will be the approach? Just the approach as I said. Start applying. Start applying, my friend. Okay? That's my approach. That would be your approach. Start applying. And maybe you won't be able to get a paid job initially, but do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to work for free, maybe for a startup company, if you cannot get a job at a big company just yet. Okay, do not be afraid to work at a startup company or a company for free. And Keith said, yes, sir, please. Awesome, guys. So yeah, this is great. This has been an amazing live call. And I'm sorry that for the wait. I know you guys had to wait quite a while, but you guys stuck with me, which I really appreciate. I love you all. And then all I can say is, I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I will see you, where? In the next video. Peace.